Running a Fever, episode 73, a new personal record. Today I'm walking the entire loop of Lake Fayetteville trail for the first time. It's a day of a new milestone in my journey to good fitness. Naturally, I wanted to start at the old stomping grounds, because I remember starting out here and only being able to go out a quarter mile and back a quarter mile. At least that's what I tried the first time. And then adversity struck in December, about a month after I started. Hurt my knee and I was out for 6 weeks. Then I came back and I was on the same schedule. Out a quarter mile, back a quarter mile. As I look back at that time, earlier today I was listening to the first few episodes, and I remember the first episode it was a new experience. The whole thing was a new experience. And I had a recorder in the car, and I recorded on the way to the trail and on the way back. And then on the trail, I recorded on my phone, just talking into the phone. And I was talking about how I was having trouble with, talking and exercising at the same time, because I just didn't have the breath to do that. And I listened to how out of breath I was at that time, just walking for a few minutes. And it's amazing the transformation that's happened. And so today I walked 5 miles last week, and I will walk 5 1/4 miles this week. Not trying to set any speed records. Definitely not. Just trying to go the distance today to hit this new milestone. So I do feel like it's a day of some great importance because of this little milestone, and so I'm devoting this episode solely to that. And maybe you look back on how I got here, but definitely it's all about this particular part of the journey. So the goal is to set a new personal record in terms of distance on this trail. I don't see a whole lot of traffic just yet. It is the hottest part of the day, 87 degrees outside, but it is Saturday of a Memorial Day weekend. So I expected there to be a lot more people out, but maybe they have other weekend plans. And I was glad to get a parking place in the old stomping grounds parking lot, because I expected that to be full as well. So being this temperature, I certainly prepared. I have been hydrating today. I haven't probably drunk enough water. Not sure that I could drink enough, but since I don't carry any water with me, which would be a great idea probably. I just don't like carrying things. And I brought a bottle to drink on the way over here, and I've got another bottle of water waiting in my car. So when I get back to it from the other side this time, that'll be pretty awesome. And I'll be ready to get back in hydrated state there. In terms of daily distance overall, this will not be that much of a stretch, because as we've talked about, I've been counting my steps and walking quite a bit outside of the regular workouts. One crazy day, I had 23,000 steps. I expect this to take an hour and a half. Like I said, not setting any speed records today. Trying to take care of myself, get to the end. So, in the spirit of taking care of myself, then let's go ahead and move to the medical department. It's been another grand week of I didn't really have a whole lot this week, but I did have my visit to the back doctor, and I still don't know what his official job title is, neurosurgeon or orthopedic surgeon or something like that. But it is a neurosurgery clinic, I think. But we haven't talked about any surgery. It's not difficult, even though we're not versed in medicine as deeply as a doctor, and to a drastically different level, but it's not difficult to determine if the doctor's good or not. And this guy was good, and he had high marks for the primary care physician that I have now returned to, and their office had high marks for him, Dr. Knox. It's in Fayetteville, not far from here. Technically in Fayetteville, but just on the border with Springdale. So I visited with Dr. Knox, and I had previously had x-rays done, and he, checked out. I had to get them on a disc, and brought the disc to him, and he looked at it. He asked me about what I was feeling, and he did some reflex testing on me with the hammer, a classic test your reflexes hammer thing. Had me stand up and turn around, and he just checked a bunch of things physically during the exam. And he looked at the x-rays, and then he brought me into the room to show me the x-rays. I have a room with monitors that they can look at the x-rays. First interesting thing was I don't have scoliosis, which has been suspected by my primary care physician for a while, and so probably was the symptoms that he was seeing were in line with what my real disease is, and that is commonly known as Forrester's. DISH is the acronym, and I cannot remember degenerative something. It's not good, but it's a disease, so how could it be good? The pain in my right arm that I've been experiencing for several months is due to a pinched nerve. So the next steps are physical therapy starting in another couple of weeks, and an MRI next week, I believe, just on my neck. What happens is the top of my back is curved over in this kind of, it's hunchback type thing, but it's not like a hunch that sticks up over, like the movies. It's just curved at the top, forcing me to bend my neck so my head can be level and I can see and all those good things. And so that causes vertebrae to, one in particular that you notice was pushed out in the wrong position, and thus I have a pinched nerve, and it goes all the way down my arm. One good thing about this diagnosis, and I asked Dr. Knox specifically about this, I asked him specifically if I needed to change anything about my exercise or activities or anything like that, and he said no, and he asked me if I worked out a lot, and I said yes. And there's another historical perspective. When I started this journey, I described myself as sedentary. I'm gonna snap a couple of pictures here. Of course, as you know, although I'm only walking once a week in this long distance fashion, I am also doing strength training during the rest of the week. And by the way, Dr. Knox also recommended yoga, so I'll be starting that in a few days as well. Yeah, good back of the bench, looking over the bench picture. So that will be another part of my routine. I'm going to start out with some pretty basic stuff. Obviously, I've never done yoga before. My father does it. Several friends have recommended it to me when I've talked about various pains and problems that I've had. So I didn't really want to do it, but now that a doctor has prescribed it, I have to be a good example and practice what I preach here. I'm telling you, it's best to consult medical professionals and take their advice, especially when you can tell that it's good advice. And this guy has 30 years of experience and the recommendation of a doctor that I've been with for a long time and respect. So there's the proof. And so I'm taking his advice. Don't really think there's anything morally wrong with yoga. If there is, well, God will go with me into the room and help me battle whatever demons might be there. I think it'll be fine though. First thing I'm going to do is a stretching class, then they have a gentle yoga class, and who knows, maybe I'll move up to the big leagues after a while. So that was it. The only other thing is I heard back from my podiatrist about the test, and it was negative. They said some people still like to take the medication. It can have side effects having to do with your liver, and so I'm not really inclined to go do that, but I'm going to keep an eye on it, and if it returns and the nails grow out, then I'll just call them up and they should be able to give me that prescription right then and there, and I can continue on with my 1 year worth of treatment. Hey, the lake is beautiful. It's kind of cut up by a little wind, a little choppy out there. But there are some people boating out there on kayaks and little boats. Plenty of people hanging out at the marina. Just fortunate I haven't seen a whole lot of people out here. So continuing on the medical report, I do have a sort of micro injury going on. I'm starting to get into try some free weights on some of the major muscle groups. And my goal is to just build muscle on a bulk scale. And I understand that's the way to do it. You activate your whole body. When you activate your whole body, when you're exercising or stressing multiple muscle groups and large muscle groups and groups of muscles basically throughout your body, that triggers a process in the body that just ramps up your muscle building. So, and I believe this is a testosterone thing. I'm not sure. Still learning. So that's what I've been doing. I really, at work, I had this thing come up by surprise actually on Tuesday, and required me to be in all-day meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it's going to require me to be in quite a few meetings, more than I usually am, over the next 4 months. Unfortunately, this sort of thing requires me to take on the working hours of the average worker, 8 to 5 basically, which makes it difficult for me because that means, I don't like crowds. That means I have to deal with crowds for the most part. Because if I wake up really early, and I could still do that, I could wake up probably at my normal time, get some kind of workout in before going to work. But then if I don't get off by 5, and that pushes everything else back. Eating supper, all things I have to do, and things that I maybe couldn't do in the morning. And so it's hard then to get to bed on time. So there you have it. But anyway, I'm going to try to work around that. But this week I had Monday and Friday. So I'm at 1,100 calories, by the way, in 30 minutes. And let's see, so I started at the 1.5 mile point, and we're at whatever this is. So Went to 0, that's 1.5 miles, and I'm not sure what this is. So probably 2 miles, maybe less. I'm at Veterans Park. So if you're a careful listener, maybe you know how far that is. Or if you're a veteran of Veterans Park, a veteran of Lake Fayetteville, maybe you know. I don't know. Pretty busy. Several groups here. I see a picnic set up in one of the pavilions. Anyway, I did get 2 strength workouts in this week. I would like to get 4 actually, but I did all upper body. My previous workouts have been kind of mixed because I didn't really have a plan as to which exercises to do. I'm not taking a lot of time. I'm just doing the exercises that I know, and I'm learning more about what workout works best. So on Monday I did upper body, and it was in the afternoon. It was crowded. I hate crowds, so, but I eventually did get finished after waiting in line a couple of times. And I did bench press and some lat pull downs, probably some forearm pull downs, things like that. And I was working some ab stuff. On leg day, instead of hitting the machines, that was yesterday, I warmed up a little bit on a stationary bike and then hit the barbell for some free weight squats. Free weights they activate more muscles, because not only do you have the directional thing that you're going in, all of the things that brace you in a machine into that exact position to build that exact muscle or muscle group are not present when you use free weights, so you have to stabilize them, and that's what makes it more difficult and more rewarding in terms of muscular development. So I started out and I just tried to think back. I don't think I've done a squat since high school, since I had my own little weight set at home, plastic, probably cement weights that I used at home. And I probably did a squat then using the instruction booklet that came with the weights. So I did, just wanted to work on my form in the beginning. So the first set I just did the bar, which is 45 pounds. At least I'm pretty sure it's 45 pounds. Maybe more than that, because then I put on 50 pounds more, so it's only 95 pounds. Now this is more than I was carrying around, back in, 6 months ago when I was 60 something pounds heavier. I wasn't 100 pounds heavier, I was just, 60 or 70. But in the middle of that set, I did feel some discomfort. When you say pain, it sounds like it really hurts. But pain is just your nerves telling you that there's something wrong. So that I received a signal that something was wrong. And so that was the pain that I felt. But it was in the same knee that I injured back 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago. So I immediately stopped the squats. So that's all the squats I did that day. And I did finish out the day with some leg exercises on the machines. And so I did get some breakdown, really hit it on the glute machine for sure. And I'm a little sore today, so I know I did break down the muscles, which is good, right? And I also know that I've been gaining weight last couple of days. So what tends to happen is, before I get into that, let's just finish up this medical report. So I'm walking today. I know though that I'm going to be giving it repetitive stress. It's not been something that's been with me constantly since yesterday, right? I can tell it's there, but it's not a constant deal. So I know I'm not going to be putting that much. It's going to be low impact. It's just going to be a long walk. Obviously not going to do any running today. If I ran, then that might be a bigger concern. So I decided to proceed today with that. And I don't think I was overdoing it there. But that's another issue with doing this one workout a week. And, I know I'm going to have to adjust. And I'm going to have to adjust my times during the week, which is more difficult than switching a day. No problem coming out here. I don't like the crowds, but it's not as big a deal as at the gym. Yep, pretty much all that's going on medically. I still need to make an appointment to get my crown with my dentist, or actually to be fitted for it. And that's another thing I'm doing this year, is getting an implant. So the crown part is ready to be done. All right, fortunately I'm on the shady part here. Mile 4.94. So theoretically, if we go by the 5 1/4 length, then I went past 0 from 1.5 miles. So still haven't hit 2 miles yet. Diet report. I'm still having trouble. I'm having trouble adding calories without adding unhealthy stuff. Because actually the healthy stuff, if you want to get more calories, you have to eat a lot more food than, for example, ice cream, cheese, and all these things are kind of part of my diet here and there, but I really want to eat healthier, because not only is it good in the long term, but in terms of short term, my ability to work out, build muscle, and just improve my overall health. And my ability to perform is also going to suffer from not having healthy foods. So I've been having a little trouble with that. Some days it just seems hard to get those calories, because I don't keep a lot of pizza, ice cream, cheese, whatever around the house. I do, and that's not what I want to eat. So I got to figure out something. Now I am getting more of a balance. I'm having fruit with my oatmeal, and some days instead of yogurt, and for the morning snack, having a banana or something like that, a piece of fruit. And so getting a couple of servings of fruit there. And then, every night I'm trying to have one of these smoothies that has at least a serving of fruit, more like 2 servings of fruit, because I will put a banana in there. The banana is the key point to getting away with the stuff you don't like. Banana doesn't seem like it, but it's actually a very strong flavor. So when you put that in a smoothie, and you can freeze bananas, put that in a smoothie, it will mask the flavor of spinach or whatever else you're putting in there. Howdy. How you doing? So then I'm definitely getting the fruits and vegetables I need. And I might want to vary that up, but it's probably more heavy on the fruit side. Also have fruit yogurt most of the time, blueberry or blackberry cream, one of my favorite flavors, anything with vanilla flavor in it. I love vanilla. So, but I might do better off getting vanilla yogurt and putting real fruit in there, because I'm taking fruit to work anyway for my oatmeal. And I could do that and get some more fruit, but it's becoming easier to get more fruit. The vegetables, I don't know. There may be some, and I've got to look for what I need to balance out. But in terms of just balancing out, getting some vegetables in there, I'm doing okay. And like I said, when I went to the dietitian last time. She said I'm doing okay. I have not been tracking my macros this week. It's just, it seems a little overwhelming right now. Everything does in the beginning, right? I mean, it's, so I want to build like a spreadsheet of, I've already got almost a whole page of food items with their calories. So, I mean, it wouldn't take much work to go through and put in carbs, fat, and protein. But I think it may be good enough just to periodically check, you know, one day. I'll check one day a week, get everything totaled up for that day. Then not only will I have the numbers for several food items, I can kind of use that as a general guideline to move forward. You know, if you balance what's on your plate, right? You get some dairy, some grains, some meat, some veggies or fruits. I think you'll probably be all right. The brightly colored stuff has more nutrients in it. What I started to say a while ago is that I'm having a sort of up and down, my weight's fluctuating within a range of 10 or 11 pounds. You know, I'll go down 5 and up 5, something like that. And it usually kind of goes in these trends. Now, it used to be that I didn't work out most of the weekend, and so, plus that was the beginning when I was in the contest. The weigh-in was late in the week, and it still is, but I'm not in the contest anymore, so don't treat that the same way. Blood pressure's holding pretty well, and since it is in the normal range, I don't expect that my doctor would recommend dropping the medication at all. You know, unless it drops out of the normal range or I start experiencing symptoms such as lightheadedness, etc. In the normal range and no longer on the borderline, which it has been for a long time, or maybe even slightly over normal. I'm really just trying to figure out what normal is now. I mean, I'm starting to figure out that. Now, this may be the way to go. So, you know, I've been kind of getting some information from this guy, Michael Matthews, which I'm now reading his book, Bigger, Leaner, Stronger, and there is that one specifically for men, and there's also Thinner, Leaner, Stronger, and that is specifically for women. Same concepts with the variations that you have between men and women, because we are different, obviously. You know, just as a caveat, I have stopped listening to his podcasts and watching his videos because there's profanity in there, so I don't recommend it. You know, if you listen to that, you know, it'll be in your mind. Garbage in, garbage out is still a good thing. That's a good rule to live by. It'd be great if he would make clean versions of his stuff and appeal to a wider audience, but that's his choice, and I can still get good information. The book is not that way. You know, it kind of makes you wonder why people, you know, do things differently in different situations, but I'm glad that he doesn't use profanity in the books, and there's lots of good information there. So I'm reading through that, but one of the things I remember hearing is about the cutting and bulking process. During bulking, a bodybuilder will run a calorie surplus, meaning taking in more calories than he burns. And when you're cutting, it's the opposite. So different things may apply also with what you eat in terms of just wanting to grow versus wanting to maintain your muscle while burning fat. Two concepts to remember here. Muscle is denser, it weighs more per the same volume, and it's you know, a lot of qualities. I mean, you can't melt muscle, right? Doesn't. Fat is meltable, so it's different in its structure, and it takes a lot longer to build an equivalent weight of muscle than it does to build an equivalent weight of fat. But the converse is also true. I think it's converse. I have to remember my geometry. But anyway, the opposite, or the reverse, is true. When you're when you're cutting, muscle doesn't burn as quickly as fat. So, the idea is that you build muscle and fat at the same time, and then you drop the fat, and then you go back and build some more. So you kind of get fat while you're bulking, and you get leaner while you're not. And he looked at this as going from a percentage body fat scale. So if you're, in sort of the class he likes to stay in, you go from between 10 and 15% body fat. So, when you get up to 15, you cut. When you get down to 10, you bulk, and so forth. And the concept that I'm going for, which is maintain the same weight and build muscle and lose fat at the same time, may or may not work. Can I build muscle while I have a parity or even calorie, neither a surplus nor a deficit? Can I do that? If I eat the same amount every day and I'm expending more calories on the workout days, then I'm in a deficit on the workout days and I'm in a surplus on the non-workout days. It's kind of what I'm trying to do. So that being the case, I should lose fat on the workout days and gain, and maybe a little bit of muscle and hopefully gain, but my diet is pretty much staying the same. I haven't gone to a workout day diet and a rest day diet. So I don't know. I'm going to see what he recommends, and eventually I'm going to find out what my body fat is. Let me just finish the diet department report. Today, another aspect of my diet is supplements, and I don't know that they're really necessary, but that's another way that I find calories. And so I have a supplement that I take right before bed so that I have fuel for rebuilding at night while I'm fasting. And I also take a supplement, although I didn't do it today. Thank you. I usually drink one of those shakes. It's a whey, which is should be like a fast-acting protein. And it's got some other benefits. And then afterwards, a different one, which is also contains protein and some other stuff, is just specifically designed for recovery. And another one that's similar but for another purpose. But anyway, so these just three that I'm taking in terms of the drinks. So one of the problems with that is that I'm having a smoothie too. So I've got one blender, and I was looking for either another glass pitcher for it or something else. So I bought one of these. The one I have is pretty heavy duty, so I bought another one of the same brand. It's Hamilton Beach, but it's a $15, basically like a 18 or 20 ounce blender. So I'll have two of them. And I bought a cup it's called Shake and Go, but it's not watertight, so doing the best. Today I made that purchase. I hate when you go to Walmart. I went there to get a tea infuser and look for a simpler shaker thing. Didn't find that, but I wound up buying something else, So that's the bad thing about Walmart. In addition to the, howdy, go Red Sox. I've been getting some compliments lately, you know, people saying that that I'm looking better. So this, you know, the place where I go with Tom every once a month or so, we were there this morning, and a waitress there said she'd noticed that I've lost a lot of weight, you know, start talking about it. But I think, and I've had other people ask me, because the last couple months I've been maintaining pretty much the same weight, you know, fluctuating a little bit. But somebody asked me if I was still losing weight, and I'm not really. But I think my body is still changing. I noticed that, you know, I've noticed a little bit of a change with the muscle building. And I understand that it's easy to make some quick gains when you first start out muscle building and working out and stuff. So I think that's going on. And if my, you know, I don't know if this has anything to do with my fluctuations, because the weight fluctuations aren't daily. They're over the course of a few days. And pretty much trying to stay in the same calorie range. Not exactly the same. This morning, this breakfast, I had French toast and sausage. And I knew I was going to need carbs for this big walk today. Howdy. Howdy. So, not too concerned. I've already, according to my watch, burned over, well, let's see, it's been an hour. We're nearing the end of the trip. It's over 3,000 calories, and I'm, you know what I mean? It's, that's a lot. I think that's calories, yeah. Yeah, sure enough, 3,400 calories. So no problem with having 1,000 for breakfast, for sure. Actually, 1,000, yeah, 1,000 for breakfast, and lunch was probably 500-600 tamales with some cheese, and those were good because I could have, you know, 1, 2, or 3 depending on how significant a meal I wanted. But now, you know, I can have my post-workout shakes, I can have a big dinner, and I can have my smoothie and my before bed shake, and still probably be at a deficit for the day. So not quite at the end yet. We're moving up on the botanical gardens. This is the parking lot where I usually park when I'm going from this area, and so we're going into the high traffic area. Expect it'll be noisier than usual due to the Memorial Day weekend, but this means I'm coming up on the 3.81 mark, which means 1 1/4, 1.5. We've gone about 3 miles or so. That's the live math for you, so you know, plus or minus 3 miles. Not that many cars in this parking lot either. It may be up over 90 degrees now. So I'm anxious to get my body fat number, and I think instead of going to complete nutrition again, I'm probably just going to get one of those BIAs and do it myself with the handheld BIA like the dietitian uses. It's good enough for her, it should be good enough for me. And I can extrapolate from that how much muscle I'm gaining. Did have the foresight to take some Advil today, even though I didn't get my pre-workout shake. A great day in Running a Fever history. So thank you, Fever Nation, for sticking with me until I made this goal, because really we all did it together. My ultimate goal is to run this course twice, and I now have walked it once. So that's the progress we've made. It's a really good feeling, but you know, it's not about just getting here. It's about maintaining and continuing on this journey for the rest of my life, which is hopefully going to be a long one. So I hope yours will be too, and I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. But thanks for being with me on this momentous occasion, and I will talk to you next time. Keep the fever.
This is the Padua Podcast Network. PaduaMedia.com.